Hello, Nano Love. Welcome to another explanation, a sample of what our wonderful hair extension method, NANOslim, is all about. It's been registered in Brazil since 2020. So, if you like our content, go ahead and comment, and share it with that friend or acquaintance of yours who should get to know NANOslim and change her life. And don't forget to leave a like to help the video get more engagement, so we can have more visibility and reach more people. That said, come make yourself at home here. Today, I'm going to share the story of a client who was referred by another client, who was referred by yet another client. In other words, clients get to know NANOslim and keep spreading the word. And this is a case of a client who had never used hair extensions before. And as you know, I share my Google Photos with you so we can see the whole case from start to finish. So come with me. Sharing with you all, here is my folder with this wonderful client. Her name is Carla, and she reached out to us. Let's check the exact date so I can tell you. It was on April 19th that she had the entire NANOslim procedure done. So fancy. And here, showing you how her hair looked. Let's go. What was her hair history? Carla's complaint. She had some kind of highlights done that, as you can clearly see, really damaged her hair. You can see the difference in density, the amount of hair at her roots, right? What grows in compared to the ends. And there's another detail, the front of her hair, right? Those first 3 fingers width at the very front of her hair also broke a lot. Probably because they tried to do that hair contouring procedure, right? Which is the face framing highlight. And then it broke. So she was already really unhappy because at this stage her hair had gotten super thin, right? It really lost a lot of density, and then, it started causing her problems in her daily life because it's really tough for a woman to see herself like that, without hair. And her history is as follows. She colors her hair, right? The grays, and she also did some kind of Brazilian blowout, right? Either a sealing treatment or a keratin treatment to straighten her hair, which I think was another big factor that caused this chemical reaction. And then what happened is what you're seeing now. So let's take a look at her whole history, right? This is her hair before. Like I said, she never used any kind of hair extensions. This was the first time, okay? It was the first time she used hair extensions. And then comes the issue of fears, right? The worries. The fear of damaging it even more, the fear of going bald, the fear of developing alopecia, bald spots, because with other techniques that's really common. If you have hair that's really sensitive, and when I say sensitive, I don't just mean the length, but the roots too. Sensitive. She has a sensitive, irritated scalp. If you apply weight with significant tension, which is essentially a pulling force, yes, we can indeed end up causing various problems on the scalp, including alopecia, and other related issues for our valued client. The really good thing is that in Carla's particular case, she was already genuinely wanting to get hair extensions. She was actively looking for this specific solution. So she talked to people she knew and was incredibly lucky enough to meet Thais, who is a very dear and valued client of ours. Thais uses NANOslim, showed her, said she's been with us for a very long time, that her hair went from a bob to well below the shoulders. It truly grew, so that gave Carla all the complete peace of mind and confidence to come to us. So let's take a look at a bit of the NANOslim process. Guys, the NANOslim process is really unique. I'm going to show you the final result here, just so I can explain to you how we achieve such an amazing outcome, okay? We're going to go through the whole process, but NANOslim is different. We don't use glue, we don't use keratin polymer, where you have to heat up that little strand with that crystal, that polymer. We don't need double-sided tape. We don't use any pieces on your head to tie things up. Nothing like that. NANOslim is a very clean and very free technique. So what do we use to apply the wefts to your head? Just our special needle and nothing else. It's your hair, the needle, and then we seal it with a little piece in the center, and that's the result. And even better, with each maintenance, the wefts stay intact. I have clients whose wefts look exactly the same as the day they were put in. Perfect. I'm even going to record a video for you all about this case. These are wefts that truly last because of the manufacturing process, and since we don't do it like the American method, where you take a thread or a needle and continuously keep sewing that piece, that weft, onto your head, piercing the weft, our weft simply doesn't wear out. Our weft doesn't, tear, our weft doesn't get punctured. It isn't damaged because no metal, no needle, nothing comes into contact with the weft. Everything is done on the elastic barrier, which I'm going to show you right now. It's a totally different process. The manufacturing process has 3 containment barriers. One contains daily life impacts, the elastic barrier. The other 2 containment methods are the mechanical and chemical barriers. These ensure threads are tightly bonded, allowing us to add more hair to the weft. We're able to create a structure that not only holds the hair together and gives it durability, so the weft doesn't lose strands over time, but also provides a protective membrane. Because we comb and brush the hair, there's contact with the weft itself, not to mention objects that might pierce it, but in our case, we don't have that issue. So you'll see just how perfect the NANOslim technique is. If you own a beauty salon and you can't keep your clients loyal, if your clients complain, or you're having a lot of problems, switch to NANOslim. And if you, as a client, are unhappy with your hair or the technique you're using, and you'd like to try NANOslim, make the switch to NANOslim. Get in touch with us and we'll give you this unique experience of transforming your life with NANOslim. And in fact, you'll also get a return on your investment, which is the longevity of the hair. Let's go and check out the whole step-by-step process. Here, we're in the application process. Altogether, Carla applied 3 wefts. So there's 1 weft on the top, which even covers the front of her hair, a central or middle weft, and a weft at the nape. There are 3 wefts in total. This is the finish on the right side, the side we see and use, and the one you saw before is the finish on the reverse side. So all the finishing of the NANOslim is done underneath, everything stays hidden. And with that, when you wash your hair right and do those back and forth motions to clean it, there's nothing there. Your hair is free, your scalp is free for proper cleaning. There's no little piece, no knot, nothing at all. And you can safely wash your hair exactly because the elastic barrier protects against the pulling from those back and forth motions and the shampoo. We thought about all of this when we created the NANOslim elastic barrier. So this specifically constructed mesh is carefully applied using the client's very own natural hair and throughout the entire mesh through the elastic barrier. This makes the hair join with the elastic barrier and form a mesh like the ones we use for working out or physical activities, something that stretches, gives you room to move, to stretch, and is comfortable. This is the elastic barrier. And the elastic barrier is only complete when we weave your hair into the elastic barrier. And that's when we really achieve the NANOslim finish. And that's how each point of the NANOslim is made along the entire length of the mesh. We place these meshes from the edges toward the center, and the stitches are the same. They are balanced. They cancel out the weight from one area, so they manage to make the weight completely uniform, resulting in a very beautiful finish, truly a top quality finish. There, we're lowering the mesh, right? This is the final finish. It's perfect, and our meshes have a generous amount of hair because our process uses both a mechanical barrier and a chemical barrier. So our meshes have a bit more hair than the conventional ones on the market. And look how beautiful it is, right? We had already tried these meshes on her so she could get a feel for them. She liked it and closed the deal right away. The versatility of the NANOslim. With the NANOslim, we can apply it to wet hair or dry hair. You can do a keratin treatment, a Brazilian blowout on the same day and apply it. You can have it already blow dried. You can hydrate both hairs and apply it. You can color it. So it's very versatile. In this case, we applied it to her dry hair, okay? And then we hydrated both. So my process was to make some highlights on the NANOslim off her head, because as you saw when she arrived, she had some honey, caramel, and darker highlights. So I replicated them with freehand technique, right? Freehand highlights. And I toned them and put them in her hair perfectly, matching her hair color. We do this customization either off the head or on the head. Both options are possible. And when our client doesn't come here to get the NANOslim done with us, doesn't come to apply it here, maybe they're from another state, another country, another city, we send it all ready to go because we do the evaluation by video. So during the video evaluation, we can already do the whole assessment, right? We do the full analysis to deliver your dream hair. And just a reminder, we only use Brazilian hair. So after we applied it to her hair, she hydrated it, right? Already with it on her head. Look at that versatility. As soon as we did the highlights and toned it, this was the look, the finish, the color of the hair, right? Remember, the hair texture is also natural. There's no straightening or alignment of the strands. So this hair was natural and only got the highlights just to match her own hair. And it brightened up. It turned out beautiful. I even already showed you the final result, right? And there was another detail too. We colored the roots, toned down the grays. So here I'm already comparing the color, right? The whole process. It's a little out of order in the folder for you guys, but yeah, we toned her grays, did the coloring, the highlights off the head, and then we put it all together and hydrated the hair. That's the versatility of NANOslim. There are methods like keratin or tape-in extensions where you have to do everything on the same day separately because you can't get the hair wet once it's on the head. With NANOslim, that's not the case. If I needed to do the highlights on her head, I could do that. Look how gorgeous the hair color turned out. It's perfection. See how it's going to give her the volume she was looking for. And there, in the first video, I was just showing you the test. I was doing the tests on her head, okay? And now we're actually applying it. Oh, and just to clarify, it's not out of order. It's because in those first videos I showed, I was trying out the wefts on her head so we could check the length and volume. So actually, we tried it out, she liked it, and that was it. And then we started that process, right, of coloring the strands on the NANOslim off the head, matching it to her hair color, and now we've already hydrated her hair, hydrated the NANOslim, and now we're applying the wet wefts. No other method applies the hair while it's wet, but with NANOslim, we can do it. And honestly, it's the best way to apply it. Turns out amazing. So here I've already made the top section, the center section, and the nape section. This is the sectioning that's just perfect, absolutely perfect. The wefts are all carefully shaped like a gentle smile, lower in the very center, to give that beautiful long hair effect and make it as long as absolutely possible. So here I'm finishing sectioning the middle weft using these proper clips, which are the clips we use NANOslim. They're perfect and hold the weft in place. Notice my client is getting her nails done. She doesn't have to hold anything for me or help me. She's free. And now we're already applying it. So I started applying the wefts from the nape up to the top. So here we're applying at the nape and we start from the ends and work toward the center. When I get to the very center, I carefully put a small micro-link piece there to securely seal it. So it absolutely doesn't come undone because the hair is quite slippery. So the natural tendency is for the delicate stitches we make with the needle to easily come loose. This is the finish underneath. We've finished the weft at the nape. Look at the elastic barrier there. How amazing it is. This mechanism really preserves the client's natural hair a lot. And now I start by testing the intermediate weft for application. Then I place it on the correct side, which is the finished side, so each stitch can be made. And then we apply it. My average application time per weft is 6 to 12 minutes. Usually, I apply these larger wefts in about 10 minutes. So in about 20 to 30 minutes, I can easily apply 3 wefts to the client's hair. It's all a matter of practice. There, I had finished applying the left side. I'm working on the right side and I'll finish in the center. NANOslim is enjoyable to apply because once you learn, it is mechanical and natural. And the fact that we don't have to use glue, polymer, or adhesive, guys, that saves so much work from all that mess. From having to remove adhesive, put on new adhesive, which is expensive and increases the maintenance cost, right? We don't need any product to remove anything, it's just moisturizer. You remove it with the specific needle, wash, moisturize, and put it back in, brush it. That's our maintenance procedure here at the studio. There, we're bringing down the central weft. is very comfortable because it really fits right in there, you know? The person feels secure too, and it doesn't pull, it doesn't hurt, okay? The elastic barrier there is what does its job. Yeah, the weft doesn't have any gaps where you could fit a finger or a comb. It's all closed up, right? It ends up as a really tight weave, almost like knitting. It's really, really well done. Now for the finishing of the top weft, I've already done from the right to the center, and now I'm doing from the left to the center. So there we're really weaving the hair into the elastic barrier. And that way we get a really perfect finish. It's very delicate. You can put together a big team to work with NANOslim. These wefts can last up to 2 years or more. I have clients who have been using the same wefts for 3 years, and they're the same ones they bought back then. So when you talk about cost benefit of the investment, NANOslim it's the method that most respects our client's investment. And here, this is how I'm sealing the NANOslim. I do a finish that comes from the left side and the right side, and they meet in the center with this little piece. We can also seal it without the microlink piece using another material. There are several ways to do it, okay? But all of this is included in my course, every instruction. For those who are in the United States, you get the kit, the clips, the needle, everything, plus the classes to learn how to do the application. So it ends up being an opportunity for anyone who wants to earn some extra income, learn a new profession, or if you're already a hairdresser or extension specialist, right? If you work with hair extensions, it's a technique to innovate and also to keep your clients coming back. Look, it's truly important to show the side there. Unlike hair wefts that are typically sewn onto the head with a needle and thread, which often cause that pulling sensation, right? That uncomfortable tug at the edges. Just look how with NANOslim, the edge consistently stays soft, it remains healthy, completely natural, and it's absolutely not pulling on our client's delicate hair. So when we lower the weft, she feels the mesh is snug, but not painful. And as the days go by, the sensation on the client's head gets even better. That's the elastic barrier because the weft moves back and forth and also side to side. If you lie on one side, you pull the opposite side. So finishing the sides like this is important to preserve the health of the hair and to prevent holes and alopecia in our client's hair. Look how gorgeous, what a show. Guys, the result is just fabulous. It really is amazing. I'm in love with NANOslim. We're going to cut the hair. Look how beautiful it already is, even wet, right? We're going to do the cut. Just trim the ends a bit. Don't go thinning it out because the wefts, the tracks, there are 3 of them. Depending on how you cut it, you'll leave a mark. So we don't thin it out or anything like that. We cut it and really leave that fullness at the ends. So I'm just trimming the very tips just a little so we can keep as much of her length as possible. In the front, we're going to do a slight layering just in the front. Okay. Then I'll let her hair down from the top and finish attaching it. It's important not to keep cutting the natural hair so much that it leaves a mark, because the thinner the ends are, the easier it is to blend in, right? It's easier for it to blend into the NANOslim wefts and look really natural. So it was only on the sides that I did that little feathering to make it look really natural. Here in Brazil, we love this style blowout, which is a curly blow dry. We do that means you don't need to use a curling iron. Clients are crazy about this blowout. This technique is truly amazing and the hair ends up with incredible volume. And this was the final result of Carla's hair. Look at it after the blowout, see how we do a really perfect color analysis, right? It really looks like she already had this hair, like she had highlights before. It grew out and turned out natural, that sun-kissed look, you know? That sun-kissed effect. So cool. And then the finishing touch on this hair, which honestly turned out spectacular. She's really happy with this hair. This hair truly turned out amazing. Look, it's perfection. And the confidence that NANOslim has brought to working with hair extensions, honestly, is undeniable. Because now I no longer have those problems I used to have before, where the extensions looked good in the first and second month, and then I'd start having a lot of issues during maintenance. There are all kinds of problems, right? Hair loss, the oiliness from the product that removes the adhesive makes it not stick well anymore. So I end up having to do a bunch of other things. And I'm also really involved in the administrative side and the numbers. So NANOslim is a technique that really doesn't add extra costs to my business. Yeah, I don't have to keep investing in adhesive or super expensive supplies just to keep a loyal client base. And most important of all, really the most important thing, is that NANOslim brought me peace. I can lay my head on the pillow and sleep peacefully, knowing my clients are at ease. They travel, they go to the beach, sauna, pool, they work out. Some clients even do triathlons. So I'm really at ease about all this because it brought me peace and gave my clients peace too. So, Nano Love, did you like this case? Did you like the results of this NANOslim? Want to see more like this here? Then help me spread the word about our channel, about our technique. Like, leave your like, comment, share it with a friend, with a neighbor, with someone who needs to know about this. Someone, who uses hair extensions and they're not happy with it. So that these people can be happy too and find peace by discovering NANOslim. My mission here is to bring, to uncover, to demystify, to show just how many countless benefits NANOslim can bring to so many women who still struggle because of hair extensions. So, big kiss. See you in our next video, and make yourself at home here anytime.